recording? Are we recording? Yes, we're recording. Good morning. Welcome to Not Your Daughter's Yoga on a fine Tuesday morning. I think it's October 26th, getting into the fall season. We're going to start out by getting on our mat in a comfortable position so you can lie down on your back. You might choose to stretch out full length, or you might choose a more restorative position with your feet planted on your mat just below your hips, knees bent, and you can allow your knees to relax in towards each other so that they're fully supported, whichever you prefer. Go ahead and lift your hips just like a little inch off the mat and then settle them back down so that you have lots of room for your lower back and that you're feeling good. And once you have done that, I'd like you to just soften your gaze or even close your eyes and remind yourself that you have come onto your mat for a reason, that this is your time and your space to do with as you wish. For the next hour and a bit, you are going to listen to yourself, listen to your body, and do what your body needs. So if at any point you feel like you need to take rest, go ahead and take rest. If you need to modify a pose, go ahead and modify. Do what your body is calling on you to do. And while you're thinking about this time and this space, I'd like you to remind yourself that your mat is a safe space for you, and it's a time and a place that you've carved out for yourself. So everything else can wait. The to-do list can wait. The phone calls can wait. It can all wait. This time is yours and yours alone. So you've made some mental space in your day, and now you're here and you're lying down and you're feeling relaxed. And now it's time to take a few of those really nice big resetting breaths. So inhale through the nose, inflating the lungs slowly and getting them as full as you can. At the top, holding that breath for just a moment, and then sigh it out loud. You can, whatever you want, just sigh it out, feeling soft. And again, inhale through the nose, big deep breath, filling those lungs to their full capacity, holding for a moment at the top, and again, sigh it out. Release all effort, all tension, all intention. Let it go. One more time. Nice deep inhale. Taking everything in, holding the breath for just a moment, and finally letting it go. Feeling your body soften in response to those big sighs. Feeling tension melt away, busyness just rolls off you. Center yourself in time and space on your mat, enjoying the moment. There's nothing you have to achieve, nothing you have to try. It's kind of like Yoda. There is no try, there is only do, right? And then you can begin to smooth out your breath into a nice fluid rhythm of inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold for a moment at the top, and then exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, exhale, 2, 3, 4. I'd like you to find the rhythm that works for you. Could be a little slower, a little faster than what I've cued. Find a sustainable rhythm for your breath and just focus in on generating that breath right now. For a few more rounds, just focus on the rhythm of that breath. And now, hopefully your breath has sort of taken up resonance in your mind, in your body, and it's just sort of become an automatic pattern. So while you're keeping that breath moving, I invite you to hug your knees in toward your chest, pulling the right knee in the direction of the right armpit, left knee in the direction of the left armpit, giving yourself a nice gentle hug. And you can roll around on the lower back a little bit, gently rocking. And then we're going to send the right leg long on the mat. So stretch that right leg long. Continue hugging the left knee in toward the left armpit. You can draw it out to the side a little bit more. Good. And you can take circles with that ankle. Just noticing how you're feeling from the tips of your toes up to the ankle. You can reverse the direction. And bring your knee in slightly if you had it really out to the side. And then we're going to take a hold behind the left thigh, and I want you to push that left foot up toward the ceiling. Your leg does not have to approach anywhere near straight. I don't know where smart came from, straight. And then you can point and flex the foot, beginning to feel sensation here, noticing how the leg is feeling, how the foot is feeling. Okay. And hug that left leg back in for a moment, and then we're going to switch it up. So you can send the left leg long, hug the right leg in. Again, hug it toward the armpit. You can draw it out to the side a little bit, and then take some circles with the ankle. Nice and slow, seeing how the foot is feeling from the tips of the toes to the ankle. And then you can reverse the motion there. And if your knee is out to the side, hug it in straighter. Take a hold behind your right thigh. And again, push that right heel toward the ceiling, but your foot doesn't have to be your leg rather does not have to be straight at all. I have quite a big bend in mine. And then I'm just going to gently point and flex the foot, noticing how that's feeling in the foot, in the shin, bringing some gentle movement in. Good. And then you can hug that knee in, draw the left knee up again toward your torso. And with your hands just below your knees, you're going to take some gentle circles with your knees, and you're going to mirror each other. So you're going to draw the knees in together and then bring them down. Bring the knees out to the side, up toward the armpit, in toward each other, and then down. So you're taking circles with the help of your hands on your knees. Just noticing how that feels in the hips. Hello, hips. How are you today? If that's a little bit out of your range of movement, you could try just moving the knee up and down instead. And then when you're ready, reverse the motion. So this time, taking the knees up and out, down and around. Good. You can stretch your legs long on the mat. Roll over onto your side. And just pause there for a moment on your side. As you're lying there, just notice how your belly is feeling, how your chest is feeling as you draw in nice deep breaths. And then we'll gently bring ourselves up to a seated position. So you may choose to take a comfortable cross-legged seat, or you may choose to remain with your legs extended out in front of you. Either works. Make sure that your sits bones are firmly connected to the ground. So you might want to scoop out the flesh from under your bum a little bit. Make sure those sits bones are really connected. Sitting up nice and tall, hands can rest at your side or on your lap. Chest is broad, shoulders are down away from the ears. And before we go anywhere, just noticing how we're feeling in those areas. So noticing the chest, the shoulders pushed down away, your arms are relaxed. You can ball your hands up into fists and release. Bring the hands into fists again. Release, wiggle the fingers a little bit. With your gaze softened, turn your attention to your neck and throat. Notice your jaw. If your teeth are clenched, just separate the biting surfaces of your teeth. Notice that your face is nice and relaxed, not straining to make any expression. And taking a few more deep breaths here. Before we add in any movement, just noticing how you're feeling, but not making any judgment. We're just checking in here. On your next inhale, gently tilt your head upward until you pause in your range of motion, noticing how that feels. Exhale, bring the head back through center and the chin down to the chest. Inhale, coming through center, gazing up, respecting your range of movement. Exhale, coming through center and down one more time. Inhale, gaze turns upward. Exhale, slowly bring the head back through center and chest down. We're going to bring our hands, we're going to intertwine the fingers and bring them onto the back of the head. And we're going to start with the elbows down. So your elbows are down by the sides of your face. And you're going to inhale, coming up through center. As you do so, open the elbows and then continuing to look upward and really broadening through the chest. Staying on your exhale, coming down, bringing the elbows forward, coming down so the chin is on the chest. Allow the weight of your hands to draw the back of your neck long. So you're not pulling on your head, you're just allowing that weight to give a little bit of traction. And then again, inhale, elbows come out wide, gaze turns upward, really opening the chest. Exhale, head comes down, elbows come in, and again, using the weight of the hands, just provide a little bit of traction on the neck. And then you can bring your head just back to center. Bring the arms out into a T. Bring your left arm underneath your right arm, so I'm mirroring you. You can continue to wrap your arms for eagle arms or bring the hands onto the shoulders. Push the elbows up, duck your head forward and down, and really round into your upper spine. So you're breathing into that space as if you could direct your breath there. Really rounding into it, letting the head and neck be relaxed. Nice deep breaths. We're going to open the arms, and this time we'll bring the right arm underneath the left. Continue to wrap or hands to shoulders. whichever you prefer. Head ducks down, elbows pushing up, rounding the upper spine. Breathing into that space. And release. You can just allow your right hand to rest on your leg or beside you. Left hand is going to reach up and over, bringing it onto the right ear, and then letting that arm be heavy, allowing the weight of the hand to just draw the right side of your neck long. Again, you're not pulling, your hand's just resting. Giving the side of the neck a little chance to open here, breathing into it. And release, and then we'll do the other side. Right arm up and over, resting the hand on the ear, allowing the weight of the hand on the arm to draw the left side of the neck long. To release, bring your left hand down to the mat, walk it out to the side, right arm reaches up and over, really stretching head and neck, relax. If you want to go a little deeper, bend your supporting arm. Just try not to let that sits bone rise up off the mat. If your hips are coming up off the mat, come out of your reach a little bit. Keep both of those sits bones connected to the ground. And come up through center, bringing the right hand down, walking it out to the side. Arm reaches up and over in an arc, keeping the sits bones planted on the mat. If you want to explore going further, bend that supporting arm. And release. So depending on how you're seated, you might have your legs stretched out in front of you. In that case, plant the left foot, bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Make sure there's a little bit of space between your leg and your planted foot. Make sure that the right leg is peeled up and straight. Your toes are peeling back toward you. Left hand is an extension behind you. Inhale, think of it getting tall as you can. Exhale, twist to the left. Relax the head and neck. If you're cross-legged, you probably know how to take this one. Make sure that you're feeling the curve come right from the base of the spine and that you're relaxing into it. So with each breath, imagining your body softening, and in that way, trying less brings you into the twist. Nice, deep and even breath. You can release and then set up for the other side, whether that be cross-legged or legs extended. So if your legs extended, roll that left leg up and in. Make sure there's a bit of space between the planted leg and the extended leg. Bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand behind you, sitting up really tall and twisting. And again, remind yourself not to leave with the head and neck. Be soft. With each exhale, you're having less resistance and you're just melting into it. Release. We'll stretch both legs out in front of us. Bring the feet together. Bring the toes toward you. So your feet are really flexed. Sitting up nice and tall, and then gently walking the hands forward, coming into that place where you start to feel the engagement in the hamstrings. So for me, I feel this in the calf muscles, but for you, you might start feeling it all the way up in your back. So feeling that engagement of the hamstrings and just resting right there. We're not pushing beyond that point. We're just greeting sensation and staying with it for a few breaths. Bring yourself back up. Bring your legs around the side. Now we're going to come on to our hands and knees. And I'm looking at camera number 2 here and seeing that my hand is up. So apparently Zoom has this new thing where if you do a physical gesture like thumbs up or arm up, it will read that. And I have to figure out a way to turn that off because it keeps thinking I'm putting my hand up. So hands are below your shoulders, and unless shoulders are touchy, then you can set your hands a little further forward. Knees are below the hips. Now we're going to come into our cat and cow. So hips come up, belly drops down, head looks forward and possibly up, depending on your range of movement. Exhale, reverse the motion. So dropping the head and hips, pushing up between the shoulder blades. Perfect time of year to imagine you're a Halloween cat. Arch spine, and then again, inhale, drop the belly, looking forward, really extending the spine. Exhale, reverse the motion. Inhale, coming through to cow. Exhale to cat. Take 3 more rounds with your own breath, and you can get funky with it. Wiggle around in it a little bit. Do some hip circles. It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it feels right in your spine. Going nice and slow as well, enjoying the sensation of moving your spine. Finish your 3rd round of cat and cow. Just bring yourself back to a neutral spine. So your lower belly is engaged so that it flattens out the small of your back. We're going to do a little bit of balancing work here. So your choice, you could choose to remain with your weight on both hands and on one knee. So you're going to draw the right knee up and in toward your chest. If you want to challenge your balance, add in the left arm as well. So we'll start with those drawn in toward the chest. Inhale, outstretch. Exhale, contract in. Inhale, outstretch. Contract. Inhale, outstretch. Inhale, contract. One more time. Outstretch, hold it for a breath, and then you can bring the hand and knee down, and we'll take it on the other side. So bring the left knee in to prepare. If you're adding in the arm, make sure that you've got your balance. So elbow comes in. Inhale to begin. Exhale, extend long. Inhale, knee and elbow in. See if you can get them to touch. Exhale, extend long. Inhale in. Exhale, extend one more time. Inhale it in. Exhale, extend and hold for a breath. And then you can bring the hand and knee down. We're going to come into our ever so elegant fire hydrant. So again, getting the weight distribution even on your hands, bringing the right knee up, and then we're going to take circles, bringing the knee out to the side, respecting your range of movement, and then bringing it down and around. So kind of like we did on our back, but only one knee at a time. nice and slow. And then we'll reverse the motion. So going the opposite direction. Good. And bring that knee down. Transfer your weight onto the right knee. Lift the left knee out to the side. And again, taking nice slow circles, respecting your range of movement. So this might be more of a back and forth thing. And then you can reverse, taking it the other way. Oh, hey, there's Carrie. Hi, Carrie. There you are. Good. Nice and slow. And then you can bring that knee down. I'm going to turn the toes under. And then I want you to slowly walk your hands back. So we're coming into a foot stretch here. And you might be happy to just stay right here. If you're enjoying the foot stretch and you want to take it a little further, you can bring your hands onto your thighs and bring yourself upright. If that's working for you, feel free to add in an arm stretch. So you can bring your right arm forward, bring the fingertips up over top, draw the fingers back while pushing the heel of the hand forward. So you're getting a nice stretch through the bottom of the forearm, carpal tunnel area. And then flip the fingers over, push the wrist forward. So now you're stretching the top. You can release that, give it a little shake, come forward onto hands and knees. We're going to release that foot stretch for just a second. And you can just tap the tops of your feet, just flutter them. Good. And now we'll turn the toes under and come into foot stretch round 2. So this time you may just want to stay with hands on the mat. If not, bring yourself upright. Bring your left arm forward, right arm reaches up and over, drawing the fingertips back while pushing the heel of the hand forward. And then flipping the wrist over, pushing the wrist forward while drawing the fingertips back. Good. And you can shake that arm out, coming back onto hands and knees. Release the toes. Again, flutter the feet. Good. Nice big hip stretch, or sorry, foot stretch. So we're going to bring our hands out about foot ahead of where they were, coming into our modification for downward facing dog. So toes can curl under and then opening the heart toward the ground. Hands are very strong. Fingers are splayed, pushing down with the base of each finger. Good. Powerful arms here. Big breath, opening the chest toward the ground. One more big deep breath. And then we're going to come onto our feet. So bring yourself up onto your feet in a way that makes sense for you. And come up to stand at the top of your mat. I'm having trouble getting to the top of my mat because I have this giant hibiscus tree here. I've got to do something with this tree. All right, so standing nice and tall, your feet are narrow hip width apart, abdomen is engaged, shoulders are broad, and your hands can relax at your side. I'd like you to just soften your gaze and stay right here. We call this mountain pose. I want you to think of yourself like a mountain. You are a rock, you are strong, and you are tall. Just taking a breath here. Noticing where the balance is on your feet. Good. And then we'll add in the motions. Inhale, arms come up overhead. You may wish to gaze up toward the fingertips. Exhale, forward fold, gentle bend in the knees, coming all the way down and coming into a forward fold, our first one of the day. So definitely a gentle bend in the knees here. You can cradle your arms one in the other, and then we'll just sway gently in our ragdoll. Nice, gentle movement. Good. And then coming back to center, we'll continue on with our sun salutation. So bring your hands onto your shin. Inhale, come halfway up. We're going to do that a couple more times. So exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale it out, fold. One more time. Inhale, coming halfway up, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Big bend in the knees. Plant your hands on the mat. Step your feet all the way back as far as you can. Lower onto the knees and untuck the toes. If you have to, wiggle those knees back. So you're making a really nice long line from your shoulders all the way back to your knees. Inhale to begin. Exhale, hug your elbows in. See how slowly you can bring yourself down. So thighs come down, hips, abdomen, chest, and then finally forehead comes down. Hands are resting underneath your shoulders. Inhale, I want you to drop your head, neck, and chest coming up for cobra, not pushing into the hands at all. There's no weight there. Just lifting from the lower spine. Exhale, forehead comes down. We're going to do that 2 more times as well. Inhale, coming halfway, coming up for cobra. Not halfway, all the way. Exhale, forehead comes down. 1 more time. Inhale, coming up, lifting from that lower spine, staying for a breath. Exhale, forehead comes down. We're going to turn our toes under, push back up onto your knees, and then send your hips back, opening your heart toward the ground. Really strong hands coming into our modification for downward facing dog. If you'd like to come up onto your feet, you can go ahead and do that, coming into the standing version of downward facing dog. If you choose to stand, pedal your legs out, gently working into those hamstrings. If you're on your knees, just nice big breaths, opening the heart toward the ground. Beautiful. And then when you're feeling ready, slowly make your way onto your feet at the top of your mat in a way that makes sense for you. Awesome. So again, we'll bring ourselves back to mountain. Feet are now hip width apart, standing up nice and straight. We're going to bring our toes together. So your heels remain out, your toes come in together. So you're doing purposeful pigeon toeing here. You're going to inhale the arms up overhead. You may choose to gaze up. Exhale, I want you to sit your hips down into an imaginary chair. Try not to stick the bum out. Try and scoop the hips down and under. Arms are extended. If that's bothersome for your shoulders, you can bring your hands onto your shoulders. Try and sit down so that your thighs come parallel to the ground. Nice big breaths here, building a little bit of heat. One more breath. Forward fold. Good work. Good work. Bring the hands onto the shins. Inhaling, coming halfway up. Exhaling, coming down, planting the hands, stepping the feet to the back of the mat. And once again, lower the knees, untuck the toes. Inhale, hug the elbows in. Exhale, coming all the way down onto the belly. Forehead comes down. We're going to take it into locust this time. So bring your hands down by your hips. Get rid of my glasses. So your hands you're on the backs of your hands. The palms are facing upward. On an inhale, bring the head, neck, and chest up. Exhale, levitate the arms and legs up. So your weight is on your pelvis. and you're really lifting. So with each inhale, think of it lifting. Big breaths. One more big breath, lift it as high as you can. Exhale, relax down. Everything comes down. You can bring your hands under your forehead, bend at the knees, gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth a few times just to release that work. Nice, big, energetic move. And you can extend the legs long, bring your forehead back to the mat, hands down by hips. This time, make sure your toes are touching. So when you zip your legs together, inhale, head, neck, and chest come up. Exhale, everything else comes up, rising up with each exhale. Sorry, inhale. Big breaths. Stay for one more breath. Exhale, everything comes down. Hands can come back under your forehead. Again, bend the knees. Gently windshield wiper. Good. We're going to take one more round of that. I will offer you a variation if you're feeling bendy today, you're feeling energetic. So you can zip your legs together. If you'd like to try something a little different, I want you to bend your right leg, take a hold of the top of the right foot, bend the left leg, take a hold of the top of the left foot. Inhale, head, chest, and neck come up. Exhale, lifting everything else up. Kick your feet into your hands. That will help draw you higher in bow. So nice big breaths. You might find that you start rocking on your belly. That's awesome. Big breaths. One last breath. And release. So if you had a hold of your feet, let them go. Bring everything down to the mat. Again, hands come onto the forehead. Bend the knees. Windshield wiper. Releasing that work in the lower back. Whew. That was a big effort, good work. And then we'll extend the legs long on the mat. We're going to come up onto the elbows. Your forearms will be straight in front of you, coming up into Sphinx. So we just did some lifting from the lower back, and now we'll just hang out in a little lower back extension. Stay for one more breath. And then you can bring your forehead back down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to turn the toes under. Push back up onto the knees. Draw the hips back. Hands go forward. Heart opens towards the ground, coming into your variation of downward facing dog. Big breaths here. If you're in the standing variation, again, you can pedal out the legs a little bit. Take a couple more deep breaths. And slowly make your way onto your feet at the top of the mat, rolling up to stand nice and tall. So again, feet are narrow hip width apart. We're going to bring our hands to our hips. You can step your left foot forward, and then with the right foot, big step to the back of the mat. And we're going to come into warrior two. So your right foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat. Your left foot is straight forward, and there's a straight line from your heel of your left foot back to your right arch. Make sure that that left ankle is ahead of the knee so that you have room to lunge. Work yourself into a stance that is really manageable. Imagine, actually, no, not imagine, do. Push the outside of the right foot into the mat. So you're not hanging out with that that foot rising, rolling up. You're really actively pushing down. Head comes forward, left arm straight forward, right arm straight back, lunging forward into our powerful warrior two. If you like, you can add in archer arms. So inhale, right arm forward. Exhale, you can follow with the eyes, but just an option. You don't have to. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw back, keeping the mind on lunging. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back, still lunging. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back, leave that arm back, rotate the head forward. You're going to turn your left palm upward, scoop the air up and back. Right hand comes down to the right leg. So coming into revolved warrior. Still lunging down. So your body's tall, but you're lunging into that front leg. Stay for a breath. Rotate the arms back to level. Stay for one breath. And then you can rise up in the left leg. Oh, that feels nice. Inhale, reach as far forward as you can. And then exhale, rotate that left hand down. So it could come to the thigh, the shin, down to the ankle, even the floor. Rotate the right arm so it's straight up overhead. Your palm should be open. You could gaze toward the ground, to the side, or even challenge your balance by turning your gaze up toward your thumb. Nice big triangle here. One more breath. If you're looking up, turn your head to look toward the ground. Rotate the right arm down. We're going to put a huge bend in the left knee. Bring the right knee down to the ground. Now, if you know you want extra padding, you can fold your mat over before bringing that knee down. We're going to bring the left foot more over toward the left. So your legs are on two separate tracks here. You can bring your hands onto the left thigh and bring yourself upright. Make sure that your left ankle is well ahead of the left knee so that you have room to lunge forward and down. So thinking about getting really tall and then gently beginning to lunge forward. Just noticing how that's feeling in your body today. If that's feeling good, you feel like you could go a little deeper. You could bring both arms to the inside of the left leg, and maybe you come down onto a block, or maybe you can come down even further and come onto your hands. Just think about relaxing those hips forward and down. Good. Breathe into it. Imagine there are lungs in your hips, and you can breathe right into that. One more nice long breath. We're going to back the hips off. Bring your hands back up onto your left thigh. So you're going to come upright again. And then we're going to pick up the left toes, draw them back towards us, and straighten that leg out. So you might want to push the left heel forward. So you're coming upright, and now that left leg is completely straight. Gently glide the hands down the thigh, coming into a little hamstring stretch. So you can stay right here, or you could bring your hands onto the block. Just make sure that you're really actively peeling those left toes back toward you so that you're feeling hamstring engagement. Nice big breaths. One more breath. And release. You can relax the left leg, draw it back by your right leg. You sit your hips back on your heels, set your block off to the side, and just unfold your mat. get organized. We'll bring our knees as wide as our mat, hips are back on the heels, and walk your hands forward, bring your forehead down to the mat, just coming into a little child's pose here. If you want to add in a stretch, you can walk your fingertips over toward the right. So both sets of fingertips walk over toward the right, and then draw the left hip back so that the left hip is drawing in the opposite direction of your arms, making the left side of your body very long. Breathing into that. And then if you want to take this option, walk the fingertips back through center, guide them over to the left this time, and think about drawing the right hip back so that the hip and the reaching arm are going in opposite directions. And bring the hands through center. We're going to come up onto hands and knees, your choice here. So straighten those knees out, narrow hip width apart, turn the toes under, open the heart, send the hands a little bit forward, coming into your modified downward facing dog, or if you prefer, coming into the standing version. Whichever is working for you at this moment in time. Taking 2 more nice deep breaths. And then bringing yourself onto your feet at the top of the mat. Preparing to bring yourself into warrior 2 on the other side. Excuse me while I just take a little water. So coming to the top of the mat, feet narrow, hip width apart, standing up nice and straight. We'll step the right foot forward, left foot, huge step to the back of the mat. The back of the left foot is parallel with the back of the mat, making sure that the heel of my right foot is in alignment with the left arch, so adjusting as needed. Making sure that the right ankle is well ahead of the right knee. Right arm comes straight forward, left arm straight back, and lunge into the front leg, aiming to get that thigh parallel toward the ground. Good. We can add in archer arms if you wish. So inhale, left arm forward. Exhale, draw it back. Option to follow with eyes. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back. Inhale forward. Exhale, draw back. One more time. Inhale it forward. Exhale, draw it back. If you followed with your eyes, turn your head forward again. Turn the right palm up. Scoop the air up and back for revolved warrior. Keep lunging into that front leg. So even though you're getting tall in your body, you're staying low in that leg. Big breaths here. Bring your arms back level. Stay for a breath. Exhale, rise up in that front leg. Oh, that's nice. Inhale, reach as far forward as you can. Rotate the right hand down so it could come to thigh, shin, ankle, floor. Keep the left palm open. So if you find that your left palm is rotated backwards, open it to the front so that there's no blockage in the shoulder. Your gaze could be down to the side or looking up toward your thumb, challenging your balance. Nice deep breaths here, a little micro bend in the leg. One more deep breath. We're going to prepare to come down into our lizard, so put a big bend in the right leg. Rotate that hand down. If you know you want padding, then fold the mat over, come onto the left toes, and then bring the left knee down. Walk the right foot out to the side so that your legs are on 2 separate paths. You can have your block ready if that's something you like. So just have that by the right instep. Bring your hands onto the right thigh, coming up nice and straight, making sure the right ankle is ahead of the right knee so that you have room to lunge. So inhale to prepare, exhale, sink those hips forward, allowing gravity to do the work. So you could stay right here with the hands on the thigh. Plenty of work going on here. No need to go further. If you do want to explore going further, you can bring your hands down onto a block. Just make sure that the right arm comes to the inside of the right knee, because otherwise you're going to get stuck on your leg. And maybe you can even come down onto your hands. Whatever variation you end up in, imagine that you have lungs and that you can send your breath right into that area of your hips. One last breath. Good. And you can bring yourself upright again. So bring the hands onto the thighs. Bring yourself upright. We're going to straighten that right leg, push the right heel forward while pulling the toes back. So we're coming into a hamstring stretch. Gently guide your hands down your leg until you feel that hamstring engagement begin. If you want, you can bring your hands onto the insides of your legs again, coming onto the block, or maybe you want to take a hold of the shin. Coming into that hamstring stretch, just make sure that those right toes stay active and are peeling back toward you. Breathe into it. Beautiful. One more deep breath. And you can release. So you can bring your hands onto the block or onto the ground, drawing the right leg back by the left, bringing your hips back, organizing yourself so you can uncurl your mat. This time we'll bring the knees together, toes are also together, walking the hands forward, coming into a variation on child's pose. So you can come here, you can relax with your arms forward, or you could draw them back by your toes. Third option is arms forward, plant the elbows near the top of your head, bring your hands into prayer, and then bring those hands onto the back of your head. I like to walk my elbows forward a little bit, and then stretching my armpits, sort of extending my armpits toward the ground, which sounds really weird, but gives a nice stretch through the upper arms. Whichever variation you choose, take the opportunity to slow your breath down, smooth it out. One last breath. And then you can bring your hands forward if there were anywhere else, coming up onto hands and knees. You can bring your knees back to narrow hip width apart, turning the toes under, extending the heart toward the ground, either kneeling downward facing dog or standing. Whichever version you choose, really opening the heart, staying for a breath, and then slowly making your way onto your feet, standing up nice and straight. Good. So we're going to turn ourselves laterally on the mat. And in fact, you may be leaving your mat. We're going to come into tree. So if you know that you would like the assistance of some furniture for your balancing practice, you can go ahead and make your way there now. Good. So standing nice and tall, adjust the clothing as needed. Feet are now hip width apart. We'll start with our hands on our hips, but before you go anywhere at all, I want you to train your gaze on a point 2 or 3 meters ahead of you. let your gaze just rest there. You're just zoning out, like you're staring into space, only you're staring at one point. It's what we call drishti, your gaze. Transfer the weight onto your left foot, so I'm mirroring you. Inhale the free leg up, exhale it to the side, plant the free foot against the standing leg. So it could be on the thigh, on the shin, on the ankle, toes down. You can put it up on the thigh if you want. You could try that. Bringing the hands into heart center. Squeezing everything up and in, so your bum is engaged, your core is engaged. And then you could try growing your tree on the side, seeing how that's feeling today. If you sway or fall, no big deal, just get back in. Slowly bring the hands back to center and down to the hips. We're going to release the standing leg, bring the knee up, and I want you to straighten that leg out in front of you. We're going to lower it almost all the way down to the ground, and then I want you to inhale it up again. Throwing a little twist at you here. Exhale that leg down. One more time. Inhale that leg up. See how high you can get it, really tightening the psoas muscle. Stay for a breath, and then lowering it down with control. Good work. Shake out the standing leg, and we'll get ready for the other side. So again, thinking about getting tall first, resting your drishti on that point 2 or 3 meters ahead of you. Transferring your weight onto the standing leg. Inhale the free leg up, exhale it to the side, shin, ankle, toes down, or if you want, you can go for the thigh. Hands can come to heart center. And you can see what growing your tree on this side produces. Not worried about shaking, swaying, falling. We just go with the flow and get back in. Gently bring the hands through heart center, staying for a breath. Bring the hands to the hips. Release the free leg. Extend it long in front of you. Exhale it down toward the ground, almost all the way down, and then inhale it back in front of you. Exhale it down. Inhale it back up. Stay for one breath. See how high you can get it. And then exhaling all the way down. Good work. Shake out the free leg. Sorry, the standing leg. Awesome. We're going to come into our squat. So if you know that you prefer to start from seated, bring yourself down onto your seat ahead of time. If you're coming from standing and you know you want the help of a block, position that under yourself. Feet are going to come wider than hip width apart in either case. Toes are out on a 45-degree angle. If you're already seated, bring the outsides of your knees towards the outsides of your upper arms, towards the insides of your knees to encourage that hip opening, or you could just use your hand. Inhale, think about getting tall. Exhale, I want you to lower yourself as slowly as you can over the next 5 breaths. Super slow. If you're already down, just get into your breathing. 2, 3, 4, and 5, coming all the way down. If you're coming from standing, once you're down, you can just wiggle it out a little bit. So no matter which version you're in right now, the outsides of your upper arms can come to the insides of the knees, Hands can come to heart center, encouraging the hips to open. No matter where you are, just try and soften your gaze. Focus your attention in on your breath, drawing it long, nice and deep. Noticing sensation, but not reacting, just allowing yourself to sit with that sensation. We'll take 2 more slow, drawn out breaths. And come to the end of your second breath. If you're not already down, bring your seat down to the ground. You can bring your toes forward once again and bring your feet out a little further in front of you. We'll take our arms one and the other, or if you'd like help with balance, bring them down to either side of you. And we're just going to windshield wiper the legs while rolling up onto the hip. So coming up onto the right hip, come back through center and up onto the left hip, just going back and forth a few times. Rolling on to that hip can give it a nice little massage. And coming to center, we'll bring the knees together. Think of it getting really tall and then bring your torso in the direction of your knees. You could wrap your arms underneath. Relax the head forward, coming into a nice restorative forward fold. If you wanted, you could stay exactly as you are, or you could extend your legs further forward, curling the toes back toward you, coming into a more active forward fold, but just an option. You don't have to take it. And slowly coming up to sit. If you're not lengthwise on your mat, bring yourself lengthwise on your mat. Plant the feet, bring your hands onto your shins. Inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Release the hands and then gently bring yourself all the way back, slowly and with control. Coming on to your back. Again, I'll invite you to draw your knees up toward your armpits and just hang out here for breath. You could rock a little bit on the spine. Bring your feet back onto the ground so knees are bent. We're just going to leave them exactly like this. Bring your arms out into a T. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, let your legs relax over to the right. If you have a block, you could bring that block by your, bring your legs over to the left. So relax the legs over to the left. You could allow your left thigh to relax onto a block. So we're just doing a very basic spinal twist here. So legs are over to the left. Make sure that both shoulders stay planted on the mat. Arms are outstretched. If you wanted, you could try looking over your right shoulder. Just an option though, not necessary. Allowing yourself to really relax into this. If you're feeling very twisty, you don't have to use the block. And If your head was anywhere else, bring it back to center. Gently raising the legs up. We'll bring the block over to the left side if that's what you'd like to use. Again, arms come out wide. Inhale. On the exhale, both legs come over to the right so that they can relax either onto the block or just all the way over. I like to have the block right just under my knee so that I come fairly deep into a twist, but I can still let my legs totally relax. Head can be looking straight up. If you'd like to try twisting a little deeper, you could turn your head to look over your left shoulder. Again, just an option. Last breath. If your head is anywhere else, bring it back to center. Bring the legs back upright. We'll hug the knees in toward the chest. You can reach your arms through the insides of the knees. Draw the feet toward the ceiling. So you could take a hold of the insides of the feet for what we call stirrup, or bring the hands around the outsides of the feet and come into happy baby. Either works. Drawing the feet toward the ceiling. And then you can roll on your lower back, give yourself a little bit of massage. If there are any other movements you'd like to take for the end of your practice, you can go ahead and take those now. So if you'd like an inversion shoulder stand, you could do that. You could extend legs. If you wanted, you could even set yourself up in Shavasana for legs up the wall. So if that's something that's in your practice, you could go ahead and move yourself by a wall, bring your hips toward the wall, rolling onto the side, and then bringing your legs up. If you're just taking good old Shavasana, legs outstretched, you could bring a bolster or pillow under the legs. Make sure that you have what you need, your creature comforts taken care of. So a little bit of water, perhaps grabbing a blanket, socks, sweater, getting yourself cozy, and finding your way into a restful pose that will serve you well in Shavasana. If you're feeling nice and warm and you'd like to retain some of the heat from your practice, bring your left hand on your belly and your right hand over your heart. If you'd like to release a little heat and just let it all go, your arms can just rest at your sides. Totally up to you. As you come onto your back and into your rest, just like we did at the beginning of class, I want you to make yourself mindful that you are still in your space and your place for yourself. Everything else can wait. And then take a few of those nice big resetting breaths. Inhaling through the nose. Filling the lungs as full as they can go. Hold for a moment. Exhale it out. You can really exaggerate it. Sigh it out. Open the mouth. You can even open in the mouth and stick out your tongue for lion's breath. Again, inhale. Getting as full as you can, holding it. Exhale. Let it all go. Last time, inhale. Drawing all the effort from your practice, all your intention. Holding for a moment with your exhale. Let it all go. Letting effort go. Letting intention go. And allowing yourself to fall into a deep state of relaxation. Just nice, smooth breathing. If you find at any point your mind begins to wander off your mat, gently draw your attention back towards your breathing. Allow yourself to be in stillness. and absorb the benefits of your practice. And you can start to bring your awareness back to yourself, where you are in space and time. Deepen your breath for a few nice big breaths. And while you do that, you could bring gentle movement back into your body, maybe wiggling fingers and toes. And perhaps you'd like to take a nice big stretch. And when you're feeling ready, roll over onto your right side and just pause there for a breath or two. And then gently bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Making sure that you're sitting up nice and straight from the base of the spine. You can bring your hands to heart center. Take an inhale and lower your gaze. Raise your words, not your voice. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. And that's a saying from the Sufi poet Rumi. Thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste.